Fine, let's start. I'll create a new Java project today. Okay, and call it day 2. Fine, and yesterday what we did, we simply saw how to create basic objects and all, and I told you how to add Java, how to add Selenium in the reference libraries, right? So now let's move forward, okay, and learn a bit more. Fine. Look, today let us talk about, like, we had downloaded the Selenium jars, right? Okay, let us continue from there. In day 2 properties, I will add external jars, which is jars. Every project you make, you will have to add the jars. Okay, so I will add the jars over here for Selenium. Fine. So I've added the Selenium jars. Right. Now let's talk about basic drivers in Selenium. Okay. Yesterday I talked about, like, laptop class. I created the object of this laptop class and all everything. Okay. And in the end I created an object of a class like ChromeDriver. This is a basic driver in Selenium. So let's talk about all the driver classes which are there in Selenium. Okay. If you go to the official website of Selenium, which is, hold on, seleniumhq.org. If you go over here, this is the official website of Selenium, or today this is known as selenium.dev as well. And if you go to the download section, I had told you that there are API docs available. You can open API docs, and over here, just give me 1 minute, guys. Just hold on. Just give me 1 minute, sir. I'll be back. Just 1 minute. Fine. So these are all the classes as I told you. And if you scroll down over here at the bottom, you will see WebDriver written. Okay, WebDriver is an interface. Alright, and this interface, what is an interface in Java? First of all, I'll tell you what is an interface. Okay, by tomorrow you'll get to know. But these are some of the driver classes. Like, you have ChromeDriver, EdgeDriver, then you have got FirefoxDriver, Internet Explorer driver. Okay, every browser has its own driver class. Alright, this remote WebDriver. Remote WebDriver is used in case of Selenium Grid when you have to run the test cases parallelly. Alright, now let's look at one driver at a time and how it works. Okay, like we saw ChromeDriver yesterday. You can create the object of ChromeDriver, and you can, like we did it yesterday, I'll just make a new class over here known as Selenium Basic. So I'm not going into Java and first teaching you complete Java then Selenium. No, I'm going to teach you Java, then parallelly I'm going to teach you how the concepts of Java are required in Selenium. So I told you about object creation yesterday. So using that, I will teach you few of the drivers which are here. Okay, so we can create the object of ChromeDriver. So when you create the object of ChromeDriver, this will launch the Chrome browser. Okay, but in your case, this will not launch because there are few settings which have to be done. Alright, so if I run this code, you see Chrome browser launches, blank Chrome browser in my case. In your case, you will get an error that some exe is missing or something. Look, to automate every driver or to automate every browser, the browser provider has given few driver classes. Okay, or driver exes. Fine, you have to download those. For example, if you go to again selenium.dev, go to the download section. Fine, over here if you scroll down, You will see that, hold on, just a minute. They have removed the section, yeah, browsers, Firefox, yeah. Expand the browsers section, you will have different browsers written over here. Okay, for Chrome, you have to download ChromeDriver. Okay, and you can just go to Google and or you open this documentation. Fine, you will get this page. Now you have to download one exe file for Chrome which will help you automate Chrome. This exe is actually given by Google, the owner of Chrome. Alright, that exe helps Selenium to automate Chrome. So you have to download that. Like in my PC, I have kept the ChromeDriver exe and downloaded it and kept it over here. Alright, so if you go to program, you can write system dot get or set property WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver, and you give the path of exe, that is ChromeDriver exe, which you download from that page. Okay, so you have to write the command system.setProperty. System is a class and setProperty is a static function under the class. So you can call it directly with the class name and set the property that WebDriver.Chrome.driver, everything in lowercase. Sometimes people keep W capital over here, it will give you an error. Java is a case sensitive language. Okay, and give the path of the exe and then run it. It will run perfectly fine for you, but you have to be careful about few things. Okay, first of all, while downloading, check the version of your Chrome. Okay, go to Chrome, go to help, go to about Chrome. Alright, and you will be able to, hold on, yeah, my version is 84.0.4147.89. Okay, so when you go to the downloads page over here, you download it for your Chrome. This is the one. Okay, this is the one. So please make sure, right, you download the right exe file, fine, for your particular Chrome browser. Okay, now you can give any commands. For example, ChromeDriver dot, you can write get, and you can give the command http yahoo.com. So when you run this, this will open Chrome and will take you to yahoo.com. Alright, many of you must be knowing these things. Okay, now the thing is, you have to be careful about few things. Sometimes Chrome updates itself. Okay, automatically, you don't have any control over it. Chrome automatically updates itself. So when Chrome updates itself, you have to download the updated ChromeDriver exe, because this program will start giving you an error that could not launch the browser or something. So you will have to again go to this downloads page. I will copy the URL over here. You will have to again go to this page and download ChromeDriver.exe in case Chrome updates itself. Alright, now there are other driver classes as well. If you look at the documentation, like for example for Firefox, we have got FirefoxDriver. Fine, you can create the object of FirefoxDriver and start working with it. You will get an error, you will have to import it. Alright, Now the thing is, again for Firefox you will need an exe file which you will have to download. Right, under the browser section you will see Firefox as well, and you can open the documentation, and from here you can scroll down, or this is the latest version of exe, okay, which you need, and they have changed the website. Alright, so you can just go to Google and type download Javadoc exe. Fine, and if you scroll down, sorry, if you scroll down you will see this is Javadoc, right, Windows 64-bit. You can download from this link. Okay, I have it already downloaded. I think I have the Javadoc. Yeah, this is the one. Alright, so you need to give the command again, that is system dot set property WebDriver dot Javadoc.driver, and you need to give the path where the exe is lying. Don't run this exe, you will not get anything by running this exe. Okay, and you can write over here FirefoxDriver.get to the URL http bbc.com. So Firefox will open and take you to BBC. Right, I'll comment these lines. Right, and when you run this code, you will see Firefox opening up and taking you to BBC. So every browser which you have will require one exe to be downloaded. Okay, and you see that the browser opens and it takes you to bbc.com. Fine. Now the problem with Firefox is you will face issues in updations. Okay, you will face issues in updations. For example, if your Firefox gets updated, then the problem is you won't find the updated jacodriver.exe so soon. If Chrome gets updated, then the Google guys, they at the same time they update they release the new ChromeDriver exe. But if Firefox gets updated, Firefox guys, they take time. They don't release the the exe immediately. Alright, so what you need to do is that you need to prevent Firefox from auto updating itself. So it's better that in Firefox you go over here, just a minute, you go to Firefox and you go to tools, options, preferences, options, right, and what you can do is you search for update, right, you select this option, check for updates, but let you choose to install them. So Firefox should not automatically install the updates. You should actually let Firefox update. Okay, but still sometimes 1 in 10 times it simply doesn't ask you, it simply updates itself. So problem is there. Okay, right. So now the thing is, once you have done this, once you have actually used Chrome and you have used Firefox, there are other browsers like these days this Edge has come up. Find Microsoft Edge. So Edge has also got the support. Fine. If you go over here and you will see EdgeDriver. Fine. So you can create the object of EdgeDriver. Okay, now EdgeDriver also has got an exe which needs to be downloaded. Okay, uh, so you just import it first of all. Right, now if you go to EdgeDriver, or if you open Edge, okay, to automate Edge, the first thing which you need to do is that you need to open Edge in your machine and check out the version. Alright, so I will be opening up Edge. This is Microsoft Edge. Basically the new Edge which has come up, right? It's got the Chromium engine behind it. It's actually Chrome. It's not Edge. Google has got a tie-up with Microsoft. So the browser is Microsoft Edge, but behind it all the functionalities and the engine which is running is the Chrome engine. Okay, so you will find a lot of similarities, especially while working with Selenium. When you work with Edge, you will find a lot of things, a lot of similarities. So it's taking time to open Edge because I haven't opened it since ages. Okay, anyways, it launches. So you also have Internet Explorer driver. Okay, meanwhile it launches. So you have if you just type INTERNET, internet, and you hit control spacebar of your keyboard, so it will give you the suggested names. In suggested names you can select. You have Internet Explorer driver as well. Fine. You can create the object of IE as well. And obviously, as the name suggests, it will help you, you know, run I. This is this is Edge which has opened. Now in Edge, the first thing which you need to do is that go to your settings. Okay, find the version which is installed. Okay, so you go over here and about Microsoft Edge. So it is 83.0.478.64. Okay, and you go to the official website for Edge. They will have it in the browser section. Fine, you open up the documentation and corresponding to your version, like I have this 83 something. Fine, they have actually removed the version exe from here. So obviously I will have to update my Edge because they have the exes from version 84, not from 83. So I will have to update my Edge to get the latest exe, but I have the older one 83 with me. In your case, you will have to download it corresponding to your operating system for the corresponding release. Okay, that really matters a lot. If you have this version of Edge, then you can download the 64-bit or the 32-bit version, right, for your operating system. I have it over here for my 83 version. I have the MS Edge driver, Microsoft Edge driver exe. Fine, so I will just have to write over here system dot set property WebDriver dot edge dot driver to the value of the exe path. Fine. In Java, in the path you have to give a double slash. Fine. So this is Microsoft Edge exe. So when you will run this code, hope so, Edge launches. My Edge was updating itself when I opened it. Right. So you see, yeah. Edge has launched itself, right? So in case the Edge updates itself, automatically you will have to download the Edge exe, right, and update it. I is deprecated. Internet Explorer driver is not used for automation now because I as a browser is hardly used in few of the organizations. It's used for specific websites and applications. But still, if you want to automate it, you can create the object over here. Fine. You can download the Internet Explorer exe from the Selenium site. In Selenium site, IEXE only version 11 is supported, and it requires additional configuration. Okay, ignore this. You go over here. They will have the Internet Explorer driver server on the top. Based on 32-bit I or 64-bit I, whatever is there in your machine, you download the exe, and I have 32-bit I, so I have kept the iDriver exe over here. Okay, and simply again you will have to give the command, that is webdriver.i.driver. But in case of I, you have to be careful about a lot of things. Fine. Because it's not so easy. It's going to give you troubles in automation. So in the beginning only you have to be careful about a lot of things. First of all, when you're working with I, see I has opened. Fine. If you're working with I, you go to tools or you go to view. Make sure the zoom level is set to 100%. In I, if the zoom level is not set to 100%, then this is not going to work. Okay, so you have to make the zoom level set to 100%. Once the zoom level is set to 100%, you go to tools, internet options, security. There are 4 sections over here. In all the 4 sections, please ensure you turn off the protected mode. This checkbox has to be unchecked. Okay, otherwise at times I gives issues. So make sure you do 2 things: zoom level 100% and protected mode is off. But honestly, for learning purpose as a beginner, don't try to learn on any other browser except Chrome or Firefox. Alright, so just concentrate on these things, or Edge also you can use. Don't try to learn on IE. Alright, so these are few of the settings which have to be done, which have for every browser. Right, now for every browser I am writing system.setProperty command. Okay, you can ignore this. There is no need to write this command again and again for every browser. You just have to do one thing, that is keep all the exes in a single folder. Okay, then go to my computer properties. You have to set, you can set this path in the system path, environment path. You have to go to the properties of PC, go to advanced system settings, go to environment variables, and open up the path variable. This is the path variable, right? Sorry, this is the path variable, right? So you can edit this path variable, and after editing you can add the path over here like I have added. In Windows 7 or Windows 8 you will get a screen like this. In the variable value section, go to the end, don't fiddle with anything, put a semicolon in the end and give the path where you have kept all the drivers. Click on OK. You will have to restart your system, and after restarting you will not have to give this particular command. You can simply create the object of ChromeDriver and run it. Sometimes you don't need a restart, sometimes you need a restart. So you see that, okay, the exe is picked up from the system path. Similarly for Firefox as well, and other browsers, right? You don't need to give the exe path. You can set it in your system, and when you run it, you can simply open the browser. Now we have seen different drivers. Okay, see, Firefox opens up, right? We have seen the drivers and all. We have seen EdgeDriver, iDriver, okay, different types of drivers. But how do we actually use them? Safari driver, Opera driver, these are unstable. They give issues. And as I told you, remote WebDriver will be used when we'll be working with Selenium Grid. Okay. Event firing WebDriver also, I'll tell you what it is in coming time. It is used with listeners and all. Okay. Now, what if I have to write a single script of code which can work with any browser? Or a different question, say, do I have to write different scripts for every browser? Because every browser has got its own driver. Okay, for example, if I create a new class over here known as dynamic script. So this is important concept which will be used till the end. Suppose I have to write a single script which works on all the browsers. Okay, say I declare a variable, that is my browser is, say, Firefox or Mozilla. Then whatever script I am writing should be working on Mozilla. Tomorrow if I change this to Chrome, so whatever script I write should work on Chrome. So a simple logic says that you can use if-else command. Okay, you can write over here if the browser is equal to Chrome, then you create the object of ChromeDriver. Right, you hit Control space bar, you'll get ChromeDriver. Fine, and you can take the ChromeDriver to the respective website. Okay, then you can use else if the browser is Mozilla. In that case, you can create the object of FirefoxDriver and take FirefoxDriver to cnn.com. Okay, and similarly, if the browser is Edge, then you create the object of EdgeDriver and take it to cnn.com. But is this solution correct? Do we have a correct solution? Suppose after going to cnn.com, I have to click on a link. Yeah. So I will have to write separate code to click on a link over here, here and here. 3 different places. Alright. So this is not the solution, because I am virtually writing or practically writing separate script for every browser. Alright. So the solution for this problem comes up from the concept of interfaces in Java. So right now let's keep Selenium over here and jump back to Java and see how interfaces help us to solve this problem. Okay, interfaces are also part of object-oriented programming itself. Alright, what I'll do is that I'll create a new interface over here. Instead of creating a new class, you create a new interface. Fine. And you can call that interface as simple as bank interface. Now, what is an interface? Interface is something which gives you idea about the system. For example, this is Selenium website. Fine. When you visit the home page of the website, it says that Selenium automates browsers. That's it. So this is the interface for the Selenium tool. This website is like an interface for Selenium tool. It tells you an overview that fine, this is what this tool does. But how it does, how are the internal commands and all, it never tells you that. So interface is something which gives you an idea about what is happening. Fine. For example, you go to buy a book. Just by looking at the outer cover of the book, you get an idea that what the book is about. So the outer cover is like an interface which helps you to judge the book and its content. Okay. So similarly, we have got interfaces in Java. Alright, you can create an interface with functions like public void say deposit. Okay, you can have different functions, public void clear check, public void register customer. So these are a few of the functions which a bank provides. Just taking a dummy example, that there are these three functions are there in a bank interface. Interface will not have the function bodies. You cannot have them defined over here. You can only have the methods declared. That fine, these are the three functions which a bank interface is capable of performing. Now, if I create a class, right, and I just create a random bank like Bank of India. So I have this class Bank of India, and what I will have to do is that I will have to write over here, it implements the bank interface. If a class is implementing an interface, okay, it is mandatory for that class to implement all the functions of the interface. You will get an error over this line, over this word Bank of India, because it is implementing the bank interface, but it is not implementing any of the functions of the bank interface. If a class is supposed to implement an interface, it has to implement all the functions of the interface. You move the mouse over the bank and you add the unimplemented methods. You select this. So all the three functions will come up over here. Deposit, clear check, and register customer. You can print over here, that is Bank of India deposit, Bank of India clear check, Bank of India register customer. This at the rate override sign, it's known as annotation. It's not important. You can remove it as well. But if you keep it, this means that this function is coming from the bank interface, or in technical terms we call it is overridden from the bank interface. Okay, if a layman looks at this code, if somebody who is not familiar with this code, just by looking at this annotation, he will understand that fine, this function is actually coming from the bank interface. But what is the advantage of the interface? How interfaces help us practically? Why did I make one interface and why did I make the class implementing the interface? I could have directly made this class. Okay, how is interface helping me? I am coming over to that in some time. Fine. And suppose I have another class known as Bank of say UK. This class is also implementing the bank interface. So this class will also have to add the unimplemented methods. Okay, you can write over here Bank of UK deposit, Bank of UK clear check, Bank of UK register customer. So you can also have these three functions over here. Alright, now the advantage of this system, if I explain you with the help of a diagram, what we did, we made an interface. Okay, this interface was the bank interface with having two classes which implemented this interface. Okay, so one was say Bank of India, the other was Bank of UK. So whatever functions were there in the bank interface, all the functions have been implemented over here. For example, there was a function known as deposit. So deposit function is there in Bank of UK as well as Bank of India. But Bank of UK has got its own implementation of deposit function and Bank of India has got its own implementation, means own code inside the function, but the name is same. The advantage of this is that it gives a structure to the whole application. It gives a discipline to the whole application. If you will have more banks coming up tomorrow, and all those banks they implement this bank interface, then all those banks will also have same set of functions in them. Okay, right. So this is what is required, or this is what is something which is really nice, because if a layman looks at this system tomorrow, a person who is new to the team, a person who is new to the project, if he looks at the system, he will just have to look at this bank interface and he will understand that fine, all these classes have got these functions. For example, you are new to Selenium. Okay, but if you look at the documentation, if you look at the Selenium documentation, hold on, yeah, this is the one. You will see that in this documentation, whatever is written in italics is an interface. For example, mouse. Mouse is an interface. Okay, and it interface representing the basic mouse operations. It represents the mouse movements which can be done with Selenium, and these are the two implementing classes: event firing mouse and remote mouse. Okay, or for example, if you scroll down, you will see WebDriver. I had told you, right? WebDriver, it is in italics. It is an interface. It is the basic start point of the architecture of Selenium. In the architecture of Selenium, this is the starting point. Everybody has heard about the word WebDriver. WebDriver is basically or technically an interface. And all my driver classes, they implement this interface. So inside WebDriver interface, we have few predefined functions. Predefined functions like close, which will close the browser, find element, which will find the element in the browser, get the title of the web page with get title, and we also saw the get function. We use the get function in our program, right, to load a new web browser window. That is why, in every browser when I was writing this, whether it is ChromeDriver, whether it is FirefoxDriver, whether it is EdgeDriver, okay, all the three drivers have the get function. Fine, all the three drivers have the get function. The function name is same because every driver is implementing the WebDriver interface. Are you able to get this point? You can unmute yourself, ask me, or you can come on the chat. Right. In our case, I had this bank interface. Okay. Let me just make a new class, call it client. Okay. Yes. Which file? Yeah. Function libraries. Yes. No. Look, hold on. Just a minute. Don't compare this to UFT. I have also worked on UFT. UFT is entire different concept. It is not object oriented. Selenium is object oriented. We don't have function libraries. We don't have checkpoints, data tables, nothing. That is completely different tool. Okay. You cannot compare the concepts over here and find one analogous concept over here. That won't be there. Okay. So don't compare it with UFT. We do create our own utilities in Selenium, but that will be at a later stage. This is a concept in object oriented programming, that this is one interface and there are two classes implementing this interface. Okay. Right. So all right, now moving ahead, if I have this client class and if I try to create the object of the bank interface, Well, you cannot create object of an interface because interface is incomplete. This is not possible, not permitted. What will you do by creating object of an interface? Interface is just something which tells you that fine, this is what is supposed to be done. Okay, but yes, you can create the object reference of interface. See, the error is on object. The error is not on object reference. You can create the object reference but not the object of an interface. We will use this object reference later on, just telling you right now. Okay, but yes, you can create the object of the implementing classes. You can write over here Bank of India, new Bank of India, and you can call the functions deposit, clear check. Okay, you can call the functions on Bank of India. And similarly, Bank of UK, you can create the object and you can call the functions. The function names will remain the same. Only the object reference which is calling the functions will differ. So when you run this, you will see that, you see, Bank of UK output is over here and Bank of India output is over here. So I hope you have understood my point. But will this help us to solve the problem? The problem again still holds good. That is, I have to make a dynamic script. We understood, fine, we understood that ChromeDriver, FirefoxDriver, EdgeDriver classes are different. But they implement the same WebDriver interface. So whatever functions are there in ChromeDriver class, if I write cd dot, these are the functions in ChromeDriver class. So whatever the functions are there in ChromeDriver class, those functions will be there in FirefoxDriver as well. And those functions will be there in EdgeDriver as well. But will this thing help us to solve the problem? It has still not helped us. Okay, so interfaces have two advantages. I have told you about one advantage, that is, if a class is implementing interface, it will have to implement all the functions and the functions will come from the interface into the class. Okay, the other advantage of interface is there, which I will talk tomorrow because I will need time, and with that we will be able to solve this problem. Okay, right, so one thing is very simple, that you can have one interface. You cannot create the object of the interface, but you can create the object of the implementing classes. And implementing classes can also have their own set of functions which are not there from interface. For example, Bank of India, it can have a function like public void UPI payments. This function or this facility is suppose not offered by Bank of UK. Okay, so you can have this function only for Bank of India. It can have its own set of functions as well, which are not coming from the interface bank. So over here you can access this function as well. You can write I dot UPI payments. Fine, but this function will not be a part of Bank of UK. So this is a proprietary function of Bank of India. Alright, now we'll study more about interfaces tomorrow because I don't have time right now. Okay,